Hi everybody, welcome back. I thought today I would just sit and do a drawing in my tan toned paper. I just got a new one because I filled the other one up. I like working on the tan colored paper. It just gives me an automatic mid-tone, and it makes shading and realism a lot easier than when I start with pure white paper. So this is my full one, and I think you saw, if you've watched my videos of the faces that I've drawn, I think you've seen most of the ones that came before this, but I'm just going to show you the last few. This is, oh, that's June from last year, so I don't work in this one as often as I do my larger journal, which has white paper in it. Oops. And this is graphite and white charcoal. I like to use the white charcoal on the toned paper. Just easy way to highlight. At some point I just went to putting 2019 instead of the entire date. I like her a lot. And then this one, I have an Opti pen. I think it's a Staples brand ink pen. It's like a rollerball ink pen, but it's water soluble. So I just sketched her really quickly with that pen and then just used a water brush to move it around. That was December 27th of last year. And this was the next day. This was Stabilo and white gel pen. Also from December. I like her. I like the way the tones of her face, the shading of her face is very soft and smooth. She reminds me of someone, I'm not sure who. I like this one a lot. This was I think a Pinterest reference that I used. You know, references where you just look at someone else's drawing or photograph or whatever and try to replicate or draw something similar. But I like the placing of the white charcoal and the cross hatching. See if I can bring her up a little closer so you can see that. So I am going to store this one away with my finished journals and start a new one. I have this awesome pencil case that holds everything I need, and I usually keep this upstairs, not down here in the studio, because that's usually in the evening when I'm watching TV. Is usually when I do my sketching and drawing in my sketchbook. So but I have my mechanical pencils, some charcoal pencils, erasers, white charcoal, a white Posca pen, some markers. This is that OptiFlow pen. Yeah, it's Staples. But this is the one that moves with water. And I think at some point I had a whole box of them, but they were in the office. They weren't in my art supplies, so... And then I have some woodless pencils in 3 hardnesses. I have a Colorase pencil, a Stabilo, and then I have 2 of my Derwent sketching pencils. These are water-soluble graphite pencils. I have a dark and a light. And then just some normal drawing pencils. These are Graphite Art Sketch. Yeah, just different hardnesses of your general graphite pencils. Some blending stumps, different sizes, and my water brushes. And an eraser. So that's generally what's sitting next to me when I'm drawing. I don't use all of that on every drawing, but I use it all sometimes. So this one is just going to be a face coming out of my imagination because I didn't look for a reference. So sometimes I use a reference. I find that I generally do better when I have a reference, even though I haven't drawn a face from a reference yet that ended up looking like the reference. So I think my brain just kind of translates what I'm seeing to shapes and shadows, and I mean sometimes you can kind of tell that it came from that reference, and sometimes it looks totally different, but it's always a better sketch than when I don't use a reference, for what that's worth. So I think using a reference can help you improve your drawing skills, just because of like muscle memory. Your memory remembers what that photograph of that face looked like for the next time you draw. So anyway, for what that's worth, I'm going to get myself situated here and I'll be back. And I'll probably speed through this. I just wanted to sit and draw, so I thought I'd put the camera on, but I don't want it to be a big long drawn out because I have more to do. And I always just start with my Pentel GraphGear 1000. I have the 0.5 size. It comes in several sizes. And I just loosely get an outline, the shape of the head that I want, and I'll go back and erase some of the lines that I don't want. Get the jaw angle right. Sometimes after the eyes go in, then I'll come back and sort of adjust the width here, depending on how I do the eyes. And I'll just come in. This top of the head is just for reference. That won't stay on the final drawing. And I just get rid of just some of the sketchier lines that I don't want to keep. So, like I said, the top of the head is for reference because I need to go halfway between the bottom of the chin and the top of the head because that's where my eye placement will be. And I like to just kind of pencil in a couple of lines. Now there should be the same distance between the eyes as the width of an eye. So we just kind of eyeball that. And then the distance here should be the same on both sides. And it's pretty close. So then I can look at my lines and see, are my eyes the same size, the same width. Then halfway between the eyes and the chin would be the bottom of the nose, so that would be about here. And then just put a line there. And then halfway between the nose and the chin is the center line of the mouth. So the mouth, corners of the mouth proportionately should generally be about even with the pupils of the eyes. The corners of the nose should be equal or lined up with the inner corner of the eye. So that's roughly, I mean everybody's proportions are a little different, but that will give you your best start. So I'm just going to sketch now, and just wanted you to know how I laid out my initial outline. final touches, she's pretty much done. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for coming along with me while I sketch today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did that. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.